All right, so I have a new Substack essay out that's kind of a sequel to an essay that I wrote on hypermodernity here on my website, Cultural Discourse, and you can see where the date of it is here. It's March 7th, 2018, and this was the first time anyone, not just myself, but really anyone, articulated the concept of hypermodernity. I did not originate the term. It pre-existed me, but I defined it. I essentially, I did a search on the internet, and there was nothing on the internet about it that shed any light on it whatsoever. So this is the essay. If you want to read the original, it's still up on my website, culturaldiscourse.com. And this is, I just want to give you a peek at this one. It's called On the Hypermodern Crisis of Meaning. It's kind of a long essay, much longer than many of these Substack essays have been. So I want to go ahead and read you the first couple of paragraphs here. And I, of course, have taken this image from Blade Runner 2049, which perfectly encapsulates the problem of subjectivity in hypermodernity. So hypermodernity began, as I wrote back in March of 2018 on my blog, culturaldiscourse.com, in 1995 when the National Science Foundation turned the internet over to the public. Hypermodernity is therefore the generation of the millennials, and it is a generation which is particularly anxious about meaning. It is not a generation that is concerned with irony, sarcasm, or the Derridian play of significations that mocks the very process of meaning-making in the metaphysical age, as defined by Heidegger from Plato to Nietzsche. It is Nietzsche who begins the deconstruction process and warns, especially in his notebook The Will to Power, that the coming consequences of European nihilism will be dire, and he was right. The world wars erupted just after his passing. However, there were plenty of great metaphysical thinkers during modernity, thinkers who painted on huge canvases, like Picasso, with big ideas that attempted to create what I call apparatuses of semiotic capture, in which those ideas were captured, nailed down, and placed inside huge cathedrals of ideas, such as Alfred North Whitehead's Process and Reality, Teilhard de Chardin's The Phenomenon of Man, Sri Aurobindo's Life Divine, and so on. Plenty of meaning-making going on in modernity. So I'll leave it there. If you like those two paragraphs, all you have to do is subscribe. It's $5 a month and $80 a year for those of you a little more ambitious. There will be many more essays coming and more on the theme of hypermodernity, which is something that I'm going to be fleshing out more and more here as I go along. I also do private astrology readings for those of you who are interested in that. You can hit me up at johndavidebert@gmail.com for that. I also now give private tutoring sessions. I have a few students now that we are privately working through difficult metaphysical texts and novels. We meet about once a week, and I charge for that. Of course, my time is valuable, and I do charge for it. I don't do things for free. And any Patreon contributions would be fantastic. I think I have a pathetically small number of contributors and a very small amount of money, like $580 a month, for all the work that I do. So I would appreciate anyone who could spare $5, either Patreon or Substack, either way. All right, so we'll leave it there, and I hope you enjoy the essay.